We'll be back from the break, and away from the news recap, you get to realize that more business outlets are yet to come up. Good morning, how are you doing? You are still watching Smart Means Business. Now, off to the news, particular outlets coming in from the business world. We are on to the tourism sector in Uganda. Well, pretty much when you look at the fact that just recently, the last allocation for the tourism sector clearly showed that the government had cut the budget towards the particular industry of tourism. And this time around, as we look at boosting the tourism sector, you went to realize that the Uganda Wildlife Education Center has been given 30 million Uganda shillings from the Diamond Trust Bank, as the Uganda Wildlife Education Center, or formerly known as the zoo, is in charge of conservation education in the whole country. And the Uganda Wildlife Education Center is centered within Entebbe, that is within the Entebbe Town Council. And of course, there are still some other challenges like poaching within the entire Ugandan tourism sector, but also amongst the zoos in Africa. You get to realize that the Uganda Wildlife Education Center, or you work in Entebbe, is one of those zoos that are apparently being ranked highly across the entire continent. Now, in this particular update, we look at boosting the tourism sector in Uganda and how it will be done effectively.
Able to reach that forage that other species are not able to. So because of that, it ends up opening areas for other species to access. But we are facing a lot of destruction, especially in the wild, due to poaching and resource extraction. Currently, we are having oil production, which is undergoing in Makshon. And because of that, we had some efforts to move the giraffes to other areas where they won't be disturbed so much, although a few were moved, and the effort is still ongoing. Yes, giraffes are known to eat several trees. We have got acacia as the main known tree, which is their favorite, especially in the wild. And here at UWEC, we are unable to offer acacia due to its nature of being thorny. It would be hard for us to serve because for us it's a cut and carry. But in the wild, that is their favorite. And then here in the zoo, we also serve a species called Sapium ellipticum as their favorite. And many other trees, including ficus trees.
It has just happened in Ethiopia here, at Zababa Zoo. The lion ate somebody. So it's a very risky area. So when you come like this, you are helping us strengthen how we manage wildlife in what we call captive environment. This is a captive environment. It's not like a national park. Every day we are looking after these animals. So I want to thank you so much. You are giving us good money. 30 million is not easy to come across. So we want to thank you. You are giving us to foster our mandates. As you are aware, UWEC is the lead agency in conservation education in this country. As mandated through UWEC Act, we have an act through Parliament, Act 2015, mandating us to do the following. One, we are lead agency in conservation education, so therefore we are required to promote conservation education across the country. Don't think that we are only limited in Entebbe here. We traverse the whole country promoting conservation education. It comes to tourism industry. We have been hit hard from COVID, and then Ebola came in. They were talking about diseases here. Some of these diseases are zoonotic that affects human and animals. And they have really hit us badly. And we are praying that we recover fully. And the recovery process, these are some of the good things that the team in marketing is bringing. And as you work management, we are extremely We are extremely happy. As I conclude, UWEC has a lot of plans. UWEC has a lot of plans, and through this MOU that we have signed, there are a lot of obligations on our side and even your side. But for you have fulfilled. We have already through the obligations on our side that we are supposed to really make you happy. By the way, when you are here, feel at home. Feel at home. Is to give a name to the giraffe. Aren't you going to give the name today? Very good. Has the name been revealed? Or still a secret? Still a secret. So, please give a good name that will not shame us. That will make, because the species I've told you that you have picked, we use it here, even in the front, when you're entering, there's a giraffe, isn't it? Is an iconic species, a unique species that makes us see far. We use it as a symbol. We look in the future, even I'm sure Diamond Trust, you have picked it because you want to look into the future. You have a lot of what? A lot of plans. The other area that we need to work with you, you have branded, isn't it? Haven't you branded enough? You want to brand more? You brand. This center here is a window to the country, let me tell you. Whoever comes wants to come here. So you didn't make a mistake by choosing UWEC as your partner. So we are going to make sure that we promote your bank when you are here. Are you getting me? You will be allowed to come here. Feel free through Mr. Zambi. Bring your people here. Even later on, they can come with the family. Not this stressful, my boss is here. Come free and enjoy fish here. Fresh fish. We have the longest what? Beach line here. You come, some of you are not even married. You can see. During your free time, we have accommodation here. Those banders have everything. Before you go and check.
And of course, according to the directors from the Uganda Wildlife Education Center, they do believe that UWEC is one of those most endowed or center that attracts quite a huge number of tourists who come into the country, and also the locals who actually go in there to tour. It's the former zoo, just a change of names in there, but pretty much the locals still target as the Entebbe Zoo, if I'm to put it in that way. And for those who have actually been there, you've been able to see the developments and the progress that is ongoing, but entirely looking back at the fact that we are boosting the tourism in the country. But now with that, we cross over to the press review this morning to see what the Daily Monitor and the New Vision have for you in regards to the business. Something to do with our very own social media trends today. The Daily Monitor also highlights the NSSF power fight, which continues to take center stage. As you look at this, according to the Daily Monitor, they trace the origins of the fight, lies, conflicts of interest, and the battle to control NSSF. Then there is also something to do with the Funders Board holding an extraordinary meeting over the reported management crisis. Then, on the other hand, the acting managing director speaking out, and he tells servers the fund is running well. That is Mr. Iota in there, who replaced the former, that is Richard Biarugaba. Now, also on the other hand, there is something to do with Parliament, where the Right Honourable Anita Ann Among has actually lashed out at Elezi Senyonyi in court, trashing Uganda Airlines probe report, and of course questioning the COSASE over a number of reports that have not been filed in Parliament or that have not been scrutinized as much as that to do with the one regarding the Uganda Airlines saga. Well, of course, there was also a trending picture yesterday on social media showing the chief executive officer of the Uganda Airlines, who was meeting with the Speaker to Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Ann Among. The discussions there, no one is yet to know about what really happened. But also following up more on the issues to do with the press review here with the Daily Monitor, the government has shut down passport services for 2 days Why is that so? You can get more of that particular one here in the Daily Monitor this morning. And of course, 6,000 people will be affected during this system upgrade that the passport sector is actually undergoing. That is in regards to immigration. Now, on the other hand, members of parliament have blocked the UBC's 80 billion shillings bailout. Why is that so? You can get that particular report in here in the Daily Monitor. Then, on the other hand, the International Monetary Fund has approved 880 billion package for Uganda and is calling in for reforms. How about that one? That is the Daily Monitor. Lastly, from the press review, the New Vision has apparently highlighted that Uganda starts drilling oil next month. So it's set to produce 230,000 barrels a day by 2025. So if you're to look at this, following the oil developments within the country. Now, also the New Vision has highlighted that Parliament has intervened in the NSSF top job. Yes, this is another report coming in this particular morning from the New Vision in regards to business. Then, according to the Works Minister, General Katumba Wamala, who's honorable now, says that no new road projects next year. Why is that so? A detailed report here with the New Vision as well is coming in from here. Now, the Speaker of Parliament has ordered a probe into Kosase, following the fact that there are some reports that they've not yet been able to, at least, if I'm to put it in that way, they've not been able to scrutinize as much. And then lastly, Parliament is set to intervene in the NSSF job saga. Now, besides that, we do have Bridget Andrew, who's on this particular morning to give us more of the traffic updates and slated to tell us where he is at and how the flow of traffic is ongoing. And Bridget Andrew, please take us away.
Thank you very much, Joram. Today we are right here at the Fairway Traffic Lights Junction, observing the traffic atmosphere, how the movement of vehicles is really transpiring right here. And I'll say it's very, very smooth. That's the general observation ever since we arrived here about 10 minutes. And of course, trying to see how the movement of the vehicles is taking place right here. What I can say is that the traffic lights are really doing an amazing job to ensure that there is controlled flow, there is controlled movement of the vehicles. And of course, as you can observe just below me, right here, that is John Babiha Road, and of course, which connects straight to Acacia. You can observe that there is quite not so many congestion, not so many vehicles are right there. So, because now this comes back to the rate at which the traffic lights are controlling the jam. In the 2 to 3 minutes intervals is where the vehicles, of course, are being held into the jam. That's what I can say. So now when you observe, for those people that are coming from Kamocha, and of course, this route, the John Babiha route connects still to Kamocha, all that side, and you're planning to pass via this particular junction, I'll say you will be in position to reach in time at whatever destination you're heading to in town. So if you're planning to use the John Babiha road all the way from Acacia Mall, and of course connecting to that junction, Mawanda Road, all up to here, you will be in position to actually reach in time to execute what you're supposed to execute. Now, getting straight on my right hand, looking at the route stretching all the way, that's from Wandega, Lago Roundabout, coming all straight here to Nile Avenue. And probably for those of you that stay in Mulago and you probably plan to pass via this particular junction to reach town, or probably you're going to these other areas heading straight to the Jinja Road, that side, you will be in position to actually reach in time. You can see it's very, very clear. There is nothing really, there is not too many vehicles, and it's the traffic lights in control of the congestion. And also the most amazing thing is that the drivers of the different vehicles are putting much respect to the traffic lights. They're being obeyed. There is no traffic officer controlling the vehicles, but there is quite a smooth flow. So for those of you coming from Wandega, probably you're coming from Mulago, and you plan to use the Fairway Junction, I guarantee you that you will be in position to reach in time. All right, now away from that, as we go up there to Seziwa Road, just up there, the vehicles, it's also a clear lane. Yes, it's a very clear lane, and for those that definitely that are planning, maybe you're coming from down here from John Babiha and you're passing there Seziwa Road and continuing to, to those particular destinations. It's a clear way. It's a very clear way. You are on the right spot. You will be in position to actually reach at whatever destination you are going to. You can see it's very clear. You're coming from Acacia Mall, you're climbing up the side, and you're heading straight to Eustace Seziwa Road. It's quite a clear lane, and you will be in position to execute your business in the required time. It's a very clear lane. It's not really congested as such. As you can see, the vehicles held by the traffic lights. The traffic lights are doing what they're supposed to do, and everything's moving on smooth. Now, if we look to the Nile Avenue stretching towards the Ginger Road, you realize that it's also quite clear. Now the vehicles that are coming from the Wandegea Mulago roundabout, and they're connecting, moving smoothly right here. It's a very smooth lane, you can see. So if you're planning to use the Fairway Junction and you're heading to Nile Avenue, to places like Garden City, you plan to go to, even the industrial area, you plan to cross to connect with the Ginger Road traffic lights, and you're going to use this particular route, it's a very safe zone for you. You will be in position to reach in time at your destination. There is not really a congestion right here. A very smooth flow of the vehicles, obedient to the traffic lights, and of course there is no traffic officers trying to control the jam. I think that can also be a little bit of a contributing factor, because the traffic lights are automated in a way on the intervals with which they're supposed to let the vehicles go. Now, for those that if you're coming from Nile Avenue, probably you're connecting from Ginger traffic lights and you're coming all straight to this lane, you're observing that it's also clear, and probably your destination, you're heading towards Mulago, you're heading towards Wandegea, and you're passing at this particular route. It's a safe zone for you. There is not really much congestion. There is not a heavy jam. You will be in position to actually reach your destination in time. So you're observing that. Because if you have to look at those vehicles held there, let's give it just a small interval. They will be released, and of course to go to that required destinations. I think that explains what I'm telling you, that it's a safe zone. Otherwise, on other circumstances, you could find a very heavy line of vehicles right here, but it's not the case. Probably in the later hours, in about 30 minutes from now, probably when the traffic control gets back to the officers, maybe you might anticipate that. But so far, so good. So far, so good for those planning to use this particular junction. Yes, the time you will be in position to go and execute your business in time according to the allocated appointments you put up with the person that you're supposed to transact with business. And of course, this is not quite much of a busy place, very quiet, a business place as such, not so heavily congested. And that's it for the traffic updates this morning, and at this particular time, back to studio with Joram.
All right, and that's very Andrew for you, who has been giving you a brief around the Farewell Hotel. That is, if you're to look at the lanes that are connecting to Kololo, or connecting to Cementi, connecting to Wandegea Mulago, and all those particular routes, as well as Nile Avenue. So you can easily see that the traffic is not yet that too tight for the morning. So if you're to move out now, it would be more easily, at least more approachable to town in time, to put it in that way. But of course, here is Smart Means Business, and we're taking a break. When we do return, we shall be returning with Karibu East Africa and also the SMB International News. But before we do go into the break, just to also quickly remind you that investment is very possible lately, and possible that you can also invest in government bonds by using the Zabo platform. Use the USSD code *292# and follow the prompts, because Zabo giving you that advantage. With a minimum of just 15,000 Ugandan shillings, Zabo will be a platform for you. The markets on the Zabo platform open.
No data, no problem. Zabo allows you
East African Standard Time. Do remember that these markets are fully closed over the weekend and, of course, on public holidays. Zabo is saying my money, my future, and also East Africa reminds you to do something new. And now the only new thing that you can choose to do today, basically investing in Zabo And Zabu says, my money, my future. There you have it. Invest your money in government bonds with Zabu, platform by Altex East Africa. And if you do not have an account yet, you can register with your NIN. And after that, in the next 24 hours, you'll be able to invest in this stock market. Zabu, my money, my future. After the break, I do return with the latest information coming in from the business world across the East African Community Blog and also from the international scene. Good morning.